So lads, Alyssa Thomas, in what is a annoying but unsurprising situation, has completely exposed Stephanie White and has completely exposed a lot of the things that, people that are the Stephanie White detractors have said about her. And I will always stand by this.
All right, this is crazy. When the Indiana Fever arrived in Phoenix, they believed they were vying for a spot in the playoffs. Alyssa Thomas herself, however, gave them a full-fledged public roasting session instead. And believe me, this wasn't a light-hearted post-game remark. This was an outright declaration along the lines of, "I've known this coach too long, and I'm going to spill all the tea." When one of your former top players goes on record essentially stating, "Yeah, we knew every single thing you were about to do," Stephanie White must have been furious. That report isn't for scouting. It's a complete exposé. Let's go back in time. Once more, the Fever lost. Isn't that shocking? In addition to being fed up with White's stale, rehashed Connecticut Sun offense, fans had to witness their squad absolutely collapse against the Mercury like a flimsy tent. It wasn't simply a loss, either. All of the typical justifications just don't apply to this type of loss anymore. Caitlin Clark isn't playing, I see. There is no Sophie Cunningham available. Yes, anything. However, Alyssa Thomas was spot on. The league as a whole is well aware of the schemes, thus they simply don't work.
We do that. I mean, like you said, we've played 2 years. Everything's pretty much the same stuff. Defense, offense, we know everything there.
Really? Take a moment to consider that. The Indiana Fever's coach is actually using a playbook that is so old and remarkably predictable that her former players can figure out the entire strategy before the game even starts. Furthermore, Alyssa Thomas wasn't merely chatting. She supported it with 9 rebounds, 9 assists, and 23 points. In essence, a triple-double. "Yeah, this isn't even hard," he said nonchalantly to the entire world. "We already know what's going to happen." She spoke with the assurance that comes from someone who is actually reading the papers for tomorrow.
I said earlier, we know everything they're trying to run. So we just form a game plan around them. And, we know they're a team that loves to get to the free throw line. And our goal is just to limit second chance opportunities and just do best about them.
However, this is where things become even more complicated. For Alyssa Thomas, Stephanie White is more than simply a coach. She used to be a coach and is said to be an expert in Alyssa's game. Her advantages, disadvantages, everything. What then occurs? She gets completely exposed by Alyssa on national television. It's similar to a magician on stage divulging the trade secrets of another magician. It's more than just clever gaming. That is blatant humiliation. Additionally, the supporters on the internet didn't miss a beat. The response came right away. Given that the opposing team basically knows our whole script, how are we even expected to compete? It's a good question, too. In actuality, you cannot. When your head coach is using a simple cut-and-paste method that rival players have been honing for years, you just cannot compete. White attempted to capitalize on the craze for changes, but where are they really? Alyssa made it abundantly evident that there aren't any.
Defense, offense, you guys might have heard it because it's really low. But defense, offense, it's all the same. We know everything they're about to do. We know everything they're about to do.
And Dana Bonner comes next. Yes, things become hot at this point. When Caitlin Clark and Bonner spoke, it was very amazing to watch, I must say.
Caitlin Clark to the right, behind the coach, coming out, John.
Imagine this. Caitlin Clark advises Bonner to stroll the court with her towering, self-centered personality. Bonner, who is attempting to intimidate Clark by practically towering over her and drawing back. The finest part, though, comes after. Caitlin doesn't give up. Not a single in. Fans of Moxie Fever definitely signed up for that kind of event. However, under White's leadership, everything is regrettably wasted because Clark's incredible firepower is totally trapped in a system that everyone is already familiar with. Let's not mince words. This goes beyond a single poor game. This concerns a coach who appears to be completely out of her element. Despite having a far superior roster on paper, Stephanie White has managed to win exactly one more game than Christy Sides did the previous season. Really, just one more game? Take a moment to process the information. White was marketed to us as the major improvement, the steady hand, the one who would elevate Lexi Hall, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlin Clark to new heights. Rather, the Fever appeared to be a cheap counterfeit of the squad from the previous year. And it's easy to see how frustrated the players are. You can see what's going on without a coaching license. Last year's Rookie of the Year, Aaliyah Boston, appears totally lost half the time. She is lacking layups. Her difficulties are even being likened to Angel Ree by fans. To be honest, Angel isn't even being fair because she's hitting more of hers. This is essentially what Alyssa Thomas says, we know everything they're about to do. It completely accounts for Boston's downturn. The defense simply shuts her down even though they know exactly where she's heading and how White will use her. Kelsey Mitchell, meanwhile, stealthily concedes 29 points. Good stats, don't you think? Here's the worst part, though. Her arguments simply don't seem compelling. They don't change the pace. Game is not closed by them. And Mitchell isn't solely to blame. She is unable to optimize her scoring bursts due to a malfunctioning mechanism. Lexi Hall threw herself into it, once more demonstrating that she is about the only player on this team that consistently makes shots when they count. However, a totally flawed plan cannot be concealed by the hustling of one person.
The biggest reason why Stephanie White, I think, has been such a success with the Indiana Fever because they're playing Connecticut Sun basketball. Stephanie White is good at dragging teams down to her level. And you might have said, oh, but like, what about the game? And I do think that 1,000,000% Alyssa Thomas is a front runner. I think Alyssa Thomas is a front runner. She literally set her career high and didn't even go in for the press conference because Stephanie White beat her. And the difference is the reason why the Fever won that game was nothing to do with their sets and their offense. It was everything to do with Ari McDonald just going head down straight to the basket. And Nate Tibbetts willing to let Ari McDonald drop 30.
The sarcasm essentially writes itself at this point. Alyssa Thomas made no effort to conceal the fact that Stephanie White has been completely outcoached. Without using any cliches or hidden language, we are aware of what they are going to do. Honesty like that simply cannot be purchased. Alyssa revealed more than merely White's strategy. She revealed the whole facade that the coaching staff has been frantically attempting to create throughout the season. Consider the wider picture in this situation. The Fever are struggling at the worst possible moment, just holding on to a postseason berth. They have only won 4 of their last 10 games. That is equivalent to the Storm and Sparks' total amount of losses. Just one game back, the LA Sparks are incidentally breathing down their necks. Chicago. They are hot rubbish indeed. However, even they are now laughing. It won't be injuries if the Fever breaks out now. It will be due to a coach who steadfastly opposes change. Furthermore, this criticism is not particularly new. All season long, fans have been yelling about it. Even when Clark isn't playing, they continue to use the same soon-steal attack, make no defensive adjustments, and have an odd dependence on Isabel. However, Alyssa Thomas simply confirmed each and every grievance. She verified what all of the fans had previously surmised. White is merely recycling. She is not adapting. The conflict of interest is the actual killer. Dana Bonner and Alyssa Thomas are more than simply rivals. They are, to be honest, White's favorite former players. Simply observe White from the sidelines as they play one another. Does that seem like a coach who is completely focused on giving her current team her all? Or does it appear as though the subject is caught between the past and the present? Someone who simply cannot keep their professional obligations and personal relationships apart. You are not even required to respond. Alyssa's remarks had already done so. The media was also quiet, completely quiet. At press briefings, avoid asking difficult questions. No responsibility. Nothing. The league seems to be avoiding this enormous elephant in the room. Like a children's novel, Stephanie White is coaching a squad that everybody can read. And for some reason, no one in the media is really criticizing it. That explains why Alyssa's remark is so devastating. What reporters won't say, she said. She said what every game supporters yell. She spoke with the unquestionable authority of someone with first-hand knowledge. This is the section that hurts the most. To be honest, who can tell if Caitlin Clark will return this season at this point?